Okay, guys, we're gonna just wait like 2 minutes. I am not one to like wait for everybody to come on in and get seated. We got things to do. So I'm gonna get started in just 1 minute though. Give people a few seconds to come in and then we're gonna get going. All right. So I can give you like a little overview of what to expect today. We're going to be talking about large language models to start with. Everything today, guys, we are like scratching the surface for AI. All right. Like this is stuff that's like, we're just getting you like acclimated to the possibilities. Okay. Whenever I teach about ethical use, because it is the Wild West out there. I think 2025, we're going to see a lot more legislation come through and a lot more legal issues for people. So I always like to begin every session with, just a few ethical boundaries and guidelines that I like to use consider that while I'm using AI. So we'll start with that, large language models. We'll get into some ChatGPT, and then we're going to do some live prompting. But everything that I do is real life use cases because I think that's important. There's so much AI out there, and every day there's something new to keep up with, which can be overwhelming. I mean, even for me, and it's literally what I do. So I can imagine that it feels like every day there's a new AI and there's something else to learn, and it's like, what program does this and what programs can actually help me? So that's why this presentation is super high level, okay, just to get your feet wet, but I'm going to show you some actual use cases for ways that you can use AI, okay? So hey, thank you all for being here. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen and we're going to get started. And by the way, I have 3 computer screens, so if I'm not looking at you, I'm sorry. It's just, I don't, half the time I don't even know where you guys are, so I'm just gonna do my best and present for my presentation. If you don't have 3 screens, highly recommend, because man, the productivity is insane. All right. Now, typically I do record with my Fathom AI note taker, but for webinars, it actually doesn't come into the meeting. So that is something that you guys should highly consider getting, whether it's Fathom for virtual meetings, or there's other ones called like Read AI, I think is another one that somebody just sent over to me with a recap. There's Otter AI. There's lots of AI recorders. And if you have a lot of virtual meetings with people, they take notes and record your session. So for me using Fathom, it's recording, except for right now because we're in a webinar, but it records the meetings. And I can download that meeting later. So it doesn't need to keep up with my, my cloud space in Zoom. I can delete it. So it's recording to Fathom and then it's taking all of the notes, okay? With that being said, I will still run the transcript to get notes for today, okay? So it'll just give me a little bit of time. It's not instant like when I record with Fathom and I get that recording immediately. So I do need to run my transcript through today's recording after it downloads, and then I can give you guys detailed notes. So there, right off the bat, is a use case for AI with transcripts, because transcripts are gold. So if you do a lot of in-person meetings, there's another alternative. This one is called Plaud, P-L-A-U-D. And basically what it does is it's a recorder that, like if you were in an interrogation room, you got a recorder, a tape recorder back in the day sitting on the table, right? That's this. It's just now connecting to your phone. It can listen to two-way calls if you attach it to your phone, and it will send it to the app with the transcript of what was said. For everybody that said everything, Plaud is the name of it. And it will send it to the app, and then you can bring it over to one of your large language models, which we'll learn about here in a minute, like ChatGPT. And then you can basically grab all the notes and summarize entire conversations to reuse later, okay? So note takers, highly recommend. Is called Plaud. It's like Claude, but with a P. I know it's weird to say, honestly. It's not like, it's Plaud Note. I got it on Amazon. There's a new smaller one that's about to be released too. I actually found out about this one because my sister is an attorney in California, and she called and was like, do you use this? Like, you need to be using this. And so legally I asked her, I was like, I can't just record conversations, which when you're talking to Zoom, when we're doing like the Fathom recording, it does tell you that it's there. We can always kick it out. But she said a good rule of thumb is that always disclose, hey, I'm taking notes. These are just for me, you know, for the conversation, so I don't miss anything. And then going forward, after you sign a contract, you can build that into your contract saying, I record our meetings for, you know, quality purposes or whatever that might be. Just always stay on the up and up when you are recording things. All right. So, yeah, I mean, so many use cases for recording, but before we even get started, I figured I'd just let you know, you should definitely look into that, okay? So, hey, I am Jenna Gaidusek. I am a designer myself. I graduated design school in 2010, went into the furniture industry, went into the real estate industry for a little bit. And from there in 2015, after I worked my way up the corporate ladder in the furniture industry, I was living in New York City and decided to quit my job because I no longer wanted to do that. Felt like I wasn't using my creative side. And I went into the world of virtual design back in 2015. So I have been in this space for quite a while. After I went into this space, created my own business, I created a community on Facebook called eDesign Tribe. And from there built out eDesign U, which was a school for learning how to incorporate eDesign into your business, which then just took off with COVID. Everybody kind of wanted to know, how are you rendering? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? So in 2022, that company was acquired after I had my son and just kind of needed to regroup a little bit, get offline, and focus on design again. And so that was acquired by Mydoma 2022. We joined forces and I still collaborate with them and teach rendering to this day. So now I get to focus on my design projects again. I do a lot of new construction, a lot of virtual still. 95% of my work is virtual. And then AI, I just love it. Okay, I just love to figure out the ways that we can incorporate it into our workflow in practical use. So technology and design has always been my thing, and figuring out how we can actually use it and apply it for ourselves. So just to get this out of the way, I figured I'd let you know how you can continue to keep up with AI. Because like I said, it is constantly changing. So I have a podcast. It's on almost every major podcast thing except for Apple, who we just don't get along, but I'm working on it. So you can go to the website, see where to listen directly from the website. Small little bite size. I don't like to drone on, but you know, like half an hour or less, typically every week. I release on Wednesdays, most Wednesdays. And then I do one-on-one trainings, groups, business advisory, not just AI, but something I've been offering since 2018. Not just businesses, firms, manufacturers, all the things. Just kind of figuring out how does AI fit into your business and looking for those different types of opportunities. The other thing is the daily, which is officially launched, and this is your daily dose of 20-minute or less actionable videos where you can watch something, implement it, and immediately start using it in your workflow every single day. So the daily just released. The first video comes out on the 1st. I am so excited about this because I'm retiring all my courses and going with this format so that you guys can stay up to date, because I cannot even express to you how quickly AI is developing and growing. So what I'm going to tell you today is going to be different in a week, in a month. It changes that rapidly. Okay. But the fundamentals today, they're all, it's the groundwork. All right. It's the getting started with these programs. All right, so today's plan, we're going to just talk about general understanding of AI in interior design, of course, ethical considerations, the benefits of using AI, large language models, so the different types of AI models that are out there, ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, and then we're going to do some live prompting. I know it sounds like a lot of stuff, but I'm just going to touch the high level here, and then if you guys want to learn about more, I could literally talk to you guys about these things for days. All right, let's understand AI in the world. So first of all, what is artificial intelligence? In the most simplest term, it simulates human intelligence, but it's processed by machines. Okay, I'm going to get into a little bit more of a description, but we're designers. You know, what can it do for me? I don't need to know about all the numbers and logistics on the back end. AI and design. So the goal here is never to replace. Okay, I can say that until I'm blue in the face, but it automates repetitive tasks, it analyzes data, and it generates creative solutions. It is an assistant to your existing creativity and knowledge as a professional. It just enhances every experience. All right. So why now? I mean, technically, AI was, you know, the origin comes from 1940s, and then 1950s is when it took a more formal shape, I guess you could say. So why now? And the reason is that we've just had incredible advances in technology in the recent years that makes it more practical for us to actually use it. Okay, so it's been here. We just are seeing a massive boom because of all of these technological advances. So let's dive into the ethics first. Gonna just address all of these things, and just know that like what I'm going to talk about are only 4 items of the golden rules that you should just put in line for yourself. Okay. So AI ethical usage ensures the trust and respect within the design community. Misuse of AI can lead to plagiarism and loss of credibility. I don't think I even need to say this. I think half of us have seen AI images online and thought, are they really trying to claim that as their own work? We need to stay on the up and up. We need to police these things, and we need to monitor them, because it will lose credit for our industry, and it only hurts us when we see people doing this. So number 1, always, always, always disclose. All right. We are not trying to trick people and make them think that we can do something that we cannot do. That was simply an AI generated image. Always say this is an AI generated image. It's generated by me. You know, this was my prompt, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, but disclose on Instagram. I want to say Pinterest, multiple social platforms. You can now mark an image as AI generated, which is really great because you say it in the caption, but also it's right there front and center. All right. Highly recommend you start doing that. If not, they are rolling through posts and they are looking for AI images, and they will mark it. So resource images. So I refrain from using other designers' work, their photography, design boards, artwork, anything like that. I don't run those images through my AI generators. I will use my work, my renders, my concept boards, maybe stock imagery, maybe never designer's work though. Primarily what I'm doing is I am creating my own AI images using words, so generative text, which we're going to talk about here, and then I'm using those as my inspirational image. The reason why I don't take other designers' work or other artists' art is because it is their intellectual property. It is probably copywritten image if it is a professional photo, and the results are typically so close when you run these things through that I don't ever want to be in a situation where it looks like I stole somebody else's work. Golden rule, do what you want done to you, or whatever that is. And then, you know, the others. So you know how that one goes. But I would hate if somebody were to take my work and then run it through, and then it comes out looking like my work, and then they claim it as their own. So that's why I avoid that at all costs. Also, to maintain originality, you should definitely not just copy and paste your blog. So if you're writing something with some AI, either you wrote it and then you ran it through AI to fix grammatical issues, just make it sound better, but it was originally your work, you proofread it after, and then you posted it. We're never just copying and pasting right to the internet. There's so many issues with that, but I mean, just make it your own, okay? Just make it original content. And even if you are using AI, just disclose at the bottom, hey, you know, AI assisted, but written by, and then put that in your citation. That's how I typically will close my blogs when I have AI that has assisted with writing them. Data privacy, I mean, it's not necessarily the internet, but the way that you conduct yourself on the internet, things that you don't share on the internet, both your personal information and clients' personal information, is the same rules apply to AI. So I still would not put in any sensitive information for business, for clients, for my personal information. Yes, there's ways to protect yourself, to turn on like private searching, but I don't trust anybody. So I just don't do any of that stuff, okay? The markers for social media, that would be great instead of copying and pasting every time. Where are the markers for AI images? Oh, when you go to post, you just say this is an AI generated image. You got to toggle it on before you post it. Okay, so a few benefits for AI interior design professionals, not just interior designers, guys. I know there's a large variety of people here, marketing and all different corners of the industry. So here are like the 4 things that AI can assist you with. Enhancing your creativity. It is not pulling away from your creativity. It is helping already creative people be more creative and think even more outside the box. It automates repetitive tasks and enhances workflow. Man, I don't know what my life was like, or I can't really remember before I started to integrate these things. Even my non-techie husband is like, I use AI every day, and I literally cannot remember what my life was like before it. Like, he said, I Googled that the other day, and he goes, oh, I didn't Google that. I put it into AI. So like that is how it's replacing and working into our workflows. Personal assistance. I'm going to talk about that today. It is one of my favorite parts of ChatGPT and some of these other LLMs. Basically, just you train a bot to help you with specific tasks in your business that are repetitive. The last thing here is improve collaboration. I mean, how many times have we wanted to say something some way and it did not come off the way that it should have? And we probably should have written something, ran it through ChatGPT and said, make this out a little bit better. Regardless, improved collaboration, just better communication and experiences across the board is a way that AI will help you to enhance your workflow. Okay. So let's get into what LLMs are. So if you've ever heard the term LLM, what it stands for is large language model. And ChatGPT is one of these, okay? So technically what it does is it's using deep learning, and it's recognizing patterns based off of all of the vast amount of information that it has been trained on, like text data and other things that humans have written, basically. So it was trained on textbooks, video transcripts, images, those types of things. And it doesn't work in like it's collecting all the information like Google, and then it's like, okay, well, here's, the results for that. It's predicting what the answer is going to be based off of its information. So a lot like when you're sending a text message and it's predicting the next word in the text, that's what it's basically doing. It's like, okay, well, if you give me this information based off of my knowledge, this is the best result that I can predict for your answer, okay? So in the end, don't worry about the logistics. We're not software developers. We just need to know how to make it go, right? Like we just need to know how to get the answers that we need. So there's a few ways to do that. There's a few different large language models that currently exist. And the programs I'm going to be showing you guys today, they are the most commonly known ones, or the ones that I use on a daily basis and I test out. So they're not necessarily, well, they're definitely not all of the programs, because there's literally a new AI program that pops up every single day. So this might not be what works for you, but I'm going to give you a starting point for your AI journey, okay? So large language models, you might already be using some of these depending on your computer setup and your phone. ChatGPT, I think you guys pretty much have all heard about ChatGPT at this point. That one is owned by OpenAI, so that is the parent company of ChatGPT. You've also maybe heard of Google Gemini, formerly known as Bard. That's their large language model. We also have Claude 3.5, and this is by a company called Anthropic, so different model. And then Microsoft Copilot has their own model. So if you've got Microsoft 365, you have AI integrated into like your Microsoft suite. You can toggle it on for different features. And then I use Microsoft now, formerly Google Chrome girl, but I've used Microsoft Copilot as my browser, and having that enabled in like right inside my browser is incredible. Like I can just bring up the pop-up sidebar for Microsoft Copilot while I'm searching a video on YouTube, for instance, and it will give me a full summary of that YouTube video right in the sidebar. So I don't have to watch it for 45 minutes, I can get a good summary for it. Same with like just articles, news articles. It'll summarize everything into bullet points for you if you don't have time to read something that's really long. So lots of different use cases for these. You might find one works better for you and the way that you've set up all your apps already, than the most common, which is ChatGPT. Now, Perplexity is technically not a large language model itself, but one of my favorite things next to ChatGPT. And the reason why I like Perplexity is because it is live sourcing where it finds all of its information. So it's basically like a search engine, but it contains multiple large language models. So ChatGPT, Claude, Anthropic, and then tons of different other like image generators and AI models are inside of the program. So it's connecting to the internet, which ChatGPT says that it is, but honestly, the information is very dated if you're pulling like data. But Perplexity is pulling information, sourcing it, helping with writing, blogs. It can look for video information. Highly recommend. You can try out Perplexity for free. And then if you wanted to upgrade to the $20 a month option, you could. You might find that it replaces your need for ChatGPT or one of these other large language models. I only pay for ChatGPT, $20 a month right now, and Perplexity, just because I teach this. Everything else I use for free. Okay, so choose what works for you. Perplexity is better than ChatGPT? No, not necessarily. That was a question that I just got. They do different things for me. So ChatGPT, I can create custom GPTs, which is what I'm going to talk about here soon. And then Perplexity is really good for like writing things and research. It is primarily for research, okay, and live up-to-date research, because ChatGPT says that it is, but realistically it is dated because it's not live searching, unless if you feed it with links and hope that those links are not blocked by the search. Okay, I will get into all of those large language models in the daily trainings, but today we only have an hour and we've got lots to do. So what can large language models even help you with? Here's a list of 50 different things that pertain to our industry, okay? So maybe not all for interior designers, maybe some, brands, manufacturers, those types of things. And you literally can get assistance with ChatGPT or other large language models for all of these things. You just need to know the right questions to ask. So here's an example. It can help with email drafting, social media content, product descriptions, design concept ideas, marketing copy. There's so much here, guys. Okay. No, I will not be sending my presentation. I don't send my presentation, but I will send you with the recording. Okay. All right. So ChatGPT. The app is where it's at, guys. If you don't already have the app on your phone, highly recommend you get it. And the reason that you should get the app is because you can talk to it, okay? So you can literally like use the voice to text, which sounds great. It actually like listens and knows what you're saying. So it's a really good translation. So if you're on the go and you don't want to type out everything when you ask questions to ChatGPT, like you can do on your computer, highly recommend you do it from the app. That's what I like to do as I'm like walking, or if I have an idea and I'm, doing something else, I bring it up on my phone and I just send in the voice clip and then I start a conversation thread. The other thing that you can do with the app is have a conversation back and forth with it. So you can chat, you can open up basically like the little headphone in the app when you go to start a conversation, and it is a you talk, it replies type of thing. And it's also logging everything that it's saying back to you in words, so that later you can go back and see that chat thread. So very cool. There's a lot of new advances that we're kind of waiting for to be released with that, but a lot more human touch with that voice operator. Okay. Now, the $20 a month plus plan is what I highly recommend. The free version is not going to do anything for you guys. Like, it looks great. It looks like you got all these options. It's not like It's not what you're going to get with the Plus plan. They're just not comparable. You're going to run out of, you know, so much. Like you're just going to run out of the amount of questions you can ask over a series of time. You're not getting access to the best models that are available. You can't use Dolly, the image generator, which is okay. Like you can use it in other things, but you can't create your own GPTs. And technically you can use other people's GPTs, but you can't make your own. And that's what I'm going to be telling you guys about today, because that is the reason that you need to be on the Plus version. And that is why ChatGPT is so awesome. Custom GPTs, okay? On your phone, you're looking for this one. This is the icon. This is the app. All of the other versions are not this version. This does not connect to your actual ChatGPT app. They put them in there to try and deter you from getting the actual app and to try and take your money. So look for ChatGPT app. It's the white one that looks like this. Okay. Alrighty. So when you are on your ChatGPT Plus account, if you go up to your settings in the top right corner, technically you do have the option to customize your ChatGPT to say, you know, specific things, which would be like, how formal do you want it to answer you? Like, how do you want it to be addressing you? Like, what's your name? What's its name? You know, like just general settings. And you do have a lot of room here. You can really kind of set up like, here's my brand voice, here's the tone, here's, you know, how I want you to answer the things that I ask of you. And so generally you can set up this for all of your conversations across the board with ChatGPT. But every time you open ChatGPT and you start a new chat thread, it's not remembering every single thing that you've already talked to it about. It does start assigning memory to start to remember certain things that you might be doing over and over again. But the custom GPTs, that is where you can basically fine tune and automate a lot of your processes. So that's what I'm going to talk about next here. Let me read this question real quick. Could you include how authentic are the answers to technical related design questions? Could you include essence of answers in citations? Just go try it. Check it out. Because it is sourcing, if you're talking about Perplexity, Maya, it's sourcing blogs and it's sourcing, you know, like larger articles, but also interior designer article and blogs. So this is also like tangent here, another form of organic traffic. The Perplexity program, AI program, and then other ones that are probably working in the pipeline, you know, Chat GPT search is on the way. So these are, in addition to like Google and that type of organic traffic, these are new ways for you to be found because they are sourcing blogs that relate to those questions through this Perplexity app. So the citations could be potentially citing your blog, which is just another reason to keep your content you know, authentic and not copying and pasting it from other sites, because then it's in competition with everybody else. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Just try it out. It's free. I think it would be cool for you to experiment with some questions that are technical for sure. Okay, so let's talk about custom GPTs. So first of all, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And so if you picture it as a virtual assistant that comprehends and reacts to voice or text-based instructions for inquiries, it basically is trained to learn how you want things done and on your business operations. And is trained by you because you feed it the information. So a few of my many GPTs that I've built, here's just 4. I'll give you a little rundown, then I'm going to show you live action what the Budget Buddy does, okay? So I create GPTs not only for me, for my business exclusively, but also for other designers. They're available on the website right now too. But one of them is the Ideal Client Avatar Buddies. So as I've been mentoring since 2018, a lot of designers we find ourselves back at the ideal client phase. Like, who do you want to work with so that we can move on to the services and the deliverables and the pricing, but we got to get to that initial spot there. So I created this GPT actually with Leslie from Swink Socials, who is a social media marketer or I guess marketer that I also work with. And she helped me to create this one. So defining who that client is just simply by talking back and forth to this custom GPT. That's all this one does. It helps you by asking you a series of questions about who you want to work with, what you like to do, who your deliverables are, or what your deliverables are, and then it creates the services and the clients and the marketing, and it's a jumping off point for the next steps. I also created one for design questionnaires. So like I said, I've done so many different presentations this year for other industries, one of them being like ClosetCon. I did a presentation for their conference. So onboarding like sales teams and asking qualifying questions to new clients in the cabinet space, but also all across our industry, right? But this was a niche option where they could basically have their designers or sales team all using the same questionnaire that they developed by importing their information from their business, their workflow, their types of projects that they do, and it really defined the questions that would help them to project them to the next phase of the design process. So questions that you just might not even be thinking about or could add to your initial onboarding questionnaire. Okay, so that's what that GPT does. This hashtag Guru GPT I created out of necessity because on the first of the year, I challenged myself to post every single day to Instagram. And to be able to stay up to stay doing that, I had to create a GPT that would help me with hashtags and the alt text, which is the text that goes behind the image. It's technically for ADA compliance, but it also is search engine optimized, so SEO optimized for basically putting words to your image for searches. So I upload a picture into this GPT and I've trained it to now give me a copy paste format, not just like give it there and then I have to like go remove all the 1, 2, 3s, copy and paste format of 30 relevant hashtags to the image that I just uploaded for what it sees, a starting caption, which I never use, but it's there, and then the alt text that I can assign to that picture when I post it. So this has been like such a lifesaver because if I already know what I'm going to post, I can upload it. And like I said, I already write my own captions. So sometimes I will have the image and the caption written, but I just need those 30 hashtags and the alt text for it. And I need them to clean up my grammar because I'm terrible at writing things. So I will run my caption through and then it will give me that copy paste version with the hashtags, with the alt text and the revised, better sounding caption. So that is all it does. Literally, that's all it does. Yeah, ask it copy paste. Ask it for spreadsheets too, guys. I'm going to show you that one in a minute. Okay. Oh my gosh, stop formatting in ChatGPT. Just say, give me a copy paste box for this, and it will. I know it's these little tricks, guys. These little things that it's like, oh, that would save me so much more time. All right, the budget buddy. This is one that I share with other designers as well, and I have gotten some feedback on this one that it is their favorite. So I figured I would show you a small sample of what this one can do in action. So just so you know, this is the spreadsheet that it gave me in return. So that was the downloadable spreadsheet. The reason why I posted it there is because sometimes after you have the conversation, they do expire. So you might not be able to see it. All right. So this chat GPT or this GPT is called my budget buddy for interior designers. And it basically was trained by me on every single room in the house and every single potential product that we could put into a space. So it is created to allocate funds and create a good, better, best scenario based off of the information that you provide it with. So it's all a starting point, all right? But it's an incredibly huge time-saving starting point. So this is what I just said. I'm designing a living room for my client in New York City. It's a small space, and we are optimizing storage solutions and furniture. No hard furnishings. Overall budget is, and then I said 20,000. As much information as you can provide it, great. If somebody if it's not, then you just have a conversation with it and say, oh, I actually didn't need that. Oh, I actually needed this. And you can kind of revise it. So here's what I got in return immediately. So it gives me a good, better, best breakdown. We got sofas, armchairs. It's giving me different price points based on the overall budget. Now, technically, I could just type into this with a conversation and say, oh, you know what? I actually don't need the area rug. We're going to be using one. And it will just reallocate everything else once I pull that. So you just talk to it. Chat GPT is a chat bot. That is what it is. You have a conversation like a human. So if you notice, I didn't talk like a robot. I just said, here's what I'm doing, just like I was talking to a design assistant. Okay. Now, the thing that it came back with is like, here you go, here's the overall budget, here's a good, better, best approximate, you know, all these types of things. It's added into this space. And this is like a general breakdown. If I said, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty, it would also do that too. All right. But it's all about the refinement and continuing the conversation. The first answer you're going to get with ChatGPT is very rarely going to be the answer that you should run with. Continue the conversation, just like you would with a personal conversation with a human, right? You ask qualifying questions to get answers and to educate yourself. Same thing with ChatGPT. The more you ask, the better your results are going to be. So I just stopped here because for sake of time today. So I just said, now please put this into a downloadable spreadsheet. Done. So this is my spreadsheet. Technically that is not, but I already downloaded it. So it does expire after a certain amount of time. So you'll just grab this, download it. And then that's the one that I just showed you guys right here. Okay. So this is in my Google Drive, but it's an Excel spreadsheet. Now you take it, now you reallocate it. All right. So that is just one small use case for the plethora of GPTs that I've started building. You know, if I have a new service, I'm going to build a GPT to help me to promote it, write the landing page, develop the service, create, you know, email replies. What should I be doing for deliverables? All of the things. Okay. Is there a formula in the spreadsheet? Not in that one, but if you asked it, it's coding. So ChatGPT can literally write you website code. So if you want it with some sort of formula, just ask for that formula. Okay. I avoid spreadsheets at all costs. So I am trying to not do formulas. I don't even like formatting them, which is funny because I love tech, hate spreadsheets with a passion. But this saves you time from being in them for a very long time. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just catch up here. I create a social media assistant, and I ask it to do the thing. Do you know it chooses the hashtags? Some of the hashtags, it gives me very few follows. Do you know if they're good ones? Hashtags are a whole different day. Hashtags, you should reach out to Leslie Swink with Swink Social if you want to talk about hashtags. They are helpful, but also not. So it's hit or miss. I don't really have the best answer for you on there, but she probably will. Okay, let's talk about stable. Leslie Swink, Swink Social Co. is her website. Okay, so stable diffusion. So I'm going to talk about stable diffusion first before we get into Midjourney, because I think a lot of people think that Midjourney and generative AI can do things that it cannot do, okay? Stable diffusion can probably do the things that you wanted to do when it comes to line drawings, okay? So what is stable diffusion? I'm just going to put it in the most simple terms, but basically what it does is if you upload a picture, it's retaining that picture and it's holding the lines that it sees and it's not changing it into something else. Typically, that's what's going to happen with Midjourney and other generative AI platforms, all right? But with this one, you can basically override an image with different colors, furniture, virtually staged things, all of that, but it maintains the image that it's using. Now here's just 3. There's so many, guys. There's so many. But here's 3 that I work with. They all do very different things. Renovate AI is about to do a huge update and push, so I will be sharing more on that one when the new update comes out. Corbu AI is still technically in beta, but you can message Taylor. One of the early episodes of AI for Interior Designer podcast had Corbu and Home Visualizer, separate podcast episodes on if you want to hear about them, short episodes. But test both of those. Home Visualizer is great. It's simple, very user-friendly, and good for like in the fields changes. Corbu is really good for architects, designers, people that sketch things and need to turn their sketches into realistic renders. All right. Tons of different, I'm just skimming the surface here. There's so much you can do with this. Now, here's just a simple list of what some of these programs do. Again, tons of options out there. I'm just boiling it down to 3 for you today. So virtual staging, renovation plans, empty rooms, those types of things. Line elevations into renders like this one you see here. Kitchen and bath remodels, changing cabinets, changing floors, creative upscalers, so better image quality for things just simply by upscaling it, visual searches, so reverse image searches, those types of things. So consider Stable Diffusion platforms as more of a quick way for you to be able to generate multiple concepts using one elevation or other programs, okay? Okay. Are these programs that realtors and builders, hold on, let me just catch up on questions before I move on to generative AI. Realtor builders use to generate furnished homes for sale. Okay, so what I actually used this for, and go check out my Instagram because it's in here. Last week, I had to make this house look like my selections for the spec home that we're building. So this is not it. It wasn't green. This was my sample, but in a combination with the line drawing elevation that I got from my realtor, Corbu AI, and then I actually upscaled it for image enhancement in Home Visualizer because I didn't, Corbu's wasn't as high quality as I wanted it. So then I put it in Home Visualizer and then I put it in Photoshop and I added the actual colors, vegetation, expanded the image size, and I basically created that mock-up for their MLS listing, which they will say, this is not a real space, this is a rendering of that space. Okay. Which program was used in the house line drawing? That was Corbu AI. SketchUp design becomes more realistic. No, I don't use SketchUp anymore, guys. I don't use that program. Learned it in college, and I use my Doma visualizer. Do you pay for Corbu, Home Visualizer? You can do tests for some of these. What is a massive? I don't have a heavy laptop. I have a Dell Inspiron, I think. No, I have a Samsung now. I don't use gaming computers. I don't use AutoCAD. I don't use SketchUp. I use my Doma Home Visualizer, which was acquired by my company, eDesign Tribe, and it has full documents, VR walkthrough tours, 4K renders, 8K renders, elevations, line drawings, everything I need. So I actually don't use SketchUp or other programs. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, I know SketchUp and CAD and everything else has AI integrated. I will be bringing in some experts in the new year for those types of things because I just don't want to learn them. I got enough other stuff to learn, so I'll bring in somebody else for that. Okay. All right. So the top programs for visual, generative AI. Here's the 4 that I recommend, okay? The 2 best ones being the Visual Electric. I'm going to show you what they do. And then the Midjourney is obviously, you've probably heard about Midjourney. Visual Electric, though, has very much become like one of my top favorite generative, but I teach all of them. So I want to give you guys the option. Now, Dolly is technically included in your Plus subscription with ChatGPT. So if you just say in the middle of a chat conversation, okay, can you make a picture of that for me now? That is Dolly, and that's part of the program, okay? Those pictures are just not as great, but it does create really good prompts when it makes them that you can use in other programs. The other option on here is Adobe Firefly. And as much as I love Adobe and I love Photoshop, Firefly is getting there. But Firefly and Adobe products were not open source trained like these other models were. They only trained their images on their stock images. So Adobe stock photos, videos, and things like that, that's what Adobe's model is trained on. So if ethically you prefer something that was not open source trained, like Midjourney and stuff like that, you might consider just using Adobe Firefly. Adobe Firefly has so many other integrations with the Adobe product suites, and the visuals are getting so much better. When I first started using it back in the spring, it's definitely gotten a lot better with the visuals. But today I'm going to really just talk about Midjourney and Visual Electric, because they are the top, and for time's sake, we got to boil it down. This is so important, this slide right here. Generative AI does not replace rendering, okay? I'm going to say that again. Generative AI does not replace rendering. So generative AI is basically a glorified Pinterest, okay? If you need to visually communicate an idea that you have for your client without rendering it all and spending time doing all of that, without looking through Pinterest or House or Instagram for that picture that you have in your mind to show them, oh, here's the range hood and here's the setup and here's how everything could look, create it using generative AI. It is an inspiration jumping off point for your next part of your design phase, which would probably be rendering, sourcing, and actually putting everything to scale in a rendering program, right? I don't use these for actual pictures. They are not actual pictures. They are purely concepts, all right? So that's why I showed you Stable Diffusion, because it, it uses the line. So if you wanted to change the exact picture, that's what this one does. But this does not understand math. Okay, so like if you say that's a 9-foot wall and the whole room is whatever, it's going to like guess, but it does not understand. All right, maybe one day in the next, I'm going to say maybe, but yes, I'm sure one day we're going to have this. I don't want it. I don't want it to be accurate, because for us, it's a tool. For the average person, when they can start to hone in on measurements and dimensions, it now is something that is more beneficial to them, and could potentially cut out more designers when that can happen. So being real about it, yeah, when math comes to these programs, it's concerning. So just consider that. Also with ChatGPT and whatnot, like the current version, it doesn't reason well, it doesn't do math well, but it's only a matter of time that all of these will get smarter, and it's happening very quickly with like the last version of ChatGPT that just came out, which is insanely smart. But today I'm going to talk about the use cases specifically, because this is the most common question that I get, and it's, can you turn your concept board, which I created in my Doma, into a rendering? And the answer is no. Right now, you cannot just say, okay, here's my concept board. Now, here's like the floor plan, make it look real. That's not a thing. That's just not how this works. I can't even upload this board into Midjourney and say, okay, now here's the layout, make it look like this. Because even if I upload this concept board into Midjourney and say, here's, the imagery, it will either take the style and just run with it, or if I assign like the image to it and say, use this as inspiration, the image that it gives back will look like a mood board and not a rendering, because it's using the composition of the image to try and do that and not fit the selections into a rendered space. So how did I get from this concept board to something that somewhat resembles the actual space? I did that actually through ChatGPT. So I take my design boards, I run them through ChatGPT, and I say, make me a prompt that I can use in Midjourney. I will give that ChatGPT conversation a little bit of context. So like, this bathroom has a tub, this bathroom has this on the walls. If you label your boards, you could also, like call to action, like here's the shower, here's the countertop, things like that. Because ChatGPT and AI models are reading images. So it can read the writing, but it can also know what is on the board, okay? The thing is, it's all look-alike pieces due to copyright restrictions. So you're going to get things that look similar, but they're not going to be the real product. If you want the real product, put it in here, maybe just bring it over to Photoshop or Canva and, remove that one placeholder and put in the actual one. But for concept, here's a new construction semi-custom house that I'm doing in Florida for this client. I only do design boards for that type of work. I don't actually do renders for my semi-custom new construction. I do material selections, design boards, spec sheets, all of that. And I send it over to the client and I don't render it. It's just too much, it'd be way more money for them. So I could potentially say, here's your design board. Here's an image of what this will somewhat look like, just to give you an idea. Okay, this is not exact, put all those restrictions on it, but you can give them a good idea of, hey, here's how this will generally look. Okay. Now, if you want real results, go render that. Definitely go render that. And you should be, for accuracy, because none of these are going to be accurate. They're going to look pretty, but man, if you start looking into, how many how many burners or how many knobs and faucets and things, like where's the rest of this faucet? Like, it's not anywhere near perfect for somebody taking these images and then actually executing it. That's why your job is so important. Okay. We're going to take a few minutes here. We're going to dive into the anatomy of what you need in a prompt. We're going to keep it super simple. And then I'm going to live show you what I just did by basically reverse prompting using a design board and then putting it into two programs so you can see. Okay. So number one, we always need to consider where it's going to be. So living room, bathroom, open concept areas. You're going to include the location, the room, the whatever into your prompt. Define the style or aesthetic. So, what's a style? What's a combination of styles that make up this space? Functionality and mood. So what's the vibe in this space? This is where we use a lot of adjectives. So we describe the feeling that we want to convey in these images. Details and features. So this is where you can go through and say, there's an accent wall with floral wallpaper that's colorful in these colors, mosaic accents in an arch niche, with bookshelves or whatever. These are the areas that you're basically like fleshing out the different characteristics in this space. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just start with a room, style, and color palette and just run with it and see what it comes out with. And then I'll go through and I'll start to add more and more details. Or if I get a good picture from my simple prompts, I will start to run those pictures through and then change things about that one picture that I liked. So there's so many different workflows. I can't get into all of them today. I will be getting into all of them in the daily with your daily 20-minute training videos. But today we're just going to do one demo. Okay. So this here, I'm going to give you an example. This is what I like to call like lazy prompting. Okay. Like I just said, you could build out your prompts, you could put all the words in, you can literally type all these things into Midjourney or any of those other programs that I just talked about. But what I'm going to show you today is something that I've been kind of sharing a little bit on my Instagram, but it's the best way that I found to take my concept board and make some format of a realistic rendering. So I took my half bath concept in here and I simply uploaded that to my design assistant GPT. Technically, just regular ChatGPT could do this, but my design assistant GPT, I've had hundreds of conversations, design related, and it just kind of gets my questions now. So I said, create a prompt for Midjourney that describes this design board for this powder room with an accent wallpaper and the selections you see on the material board. So here is the prompt that it provided me with. Now, technically, I could have also said, now I want you to create a picture of what this looks like. And Dolly would have also created that image. And I could have clicked on that image and actually copied that post as well, or sorry, that prompt as well from the image that Dolly produces. But I just said, give me that prompt right away. So before I move on to the next one, I'll show you what I got when I did that. So I just simply highlighted this and right click and copied. Okay. So it's now given me the words, so I don't have to find the words. And here it is after I pasted it. This one is Visual Electric. Highly recommend. First week of the daily, we're going to be going through all the generative AI. So this one here is how it interpreted this. Not perfect, guys. It's not meant to be perfect by any means, but does it convey the overall feeling and mood? I think it does. Let's see how it was created here. Not as good. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I love Midjourney, but sometimes it just goes so rogue on the same words. So this is the same exact prompt that I used over in Studio Electric. And this is why I'm telling you guys, there's many options out there. Somebody here might prefer Visual Electric and somebody here might prefer the look of Midjourney. And there's just options for everybody, okay? Visual Electric does a lot more for us as creatives, and I highly recommend that you check that out because you can create styles, you can create like different iterations of things, and they even have like some stable diffusion type options too, where you can basically take an image and then like override that image without having to go into another program, okay? For some reason, I'm probably just gonna need to start a new one. I had these up for a while and it doesn't want to remember them. So I'm going to show you another one. We'll do a live one right now. So let's grab this one. Okay. And I'm just going to say, okay, so very simple. I'm just basically saying this is a bathroom that with a shower that has those blue tiles. I did not upload anything over here for like names and where everything goes. So we'll just kind of see how this interprets the design board and the type of prompt that it gives back to me. If you could only purchase one generative AI, which one would you choose? I have Midjourney, now curious about Visual Electric. I would say, what is your goal? What are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to create primarily conceptual images? In what style? You know, because you have to kind of figure that out for yourself. You can do like free versions of both of them to an extent. For me, if I had to choose right now, I don't think I could give up Midjourney just because it changes so quickly. But if I had to, I would go with Visual Electric. I would do the $20. They're both $20. I did upgrade though to the middle tier for Visual Electric just yesterday, so that I could get more imagery because I did run out. And that's just because I did an entire branding thing where I created like hundreds of images last month. So that's probably why. Oh, and all these just signed out for a second because I had this up for so long. So I'm just gonna run all these here. Somebody asked to see the pictures here in Midjourney again. Guys, Midjourney images are beautiful. Go look at my Instagram. I share them all the time. Half the images on the website right now, though, they're not Midjourney. They're actually Visual Electric. So here, I showed you guys some examples of the laundry room. The ones that I shared are Visual Electric. Look at, like, these just kind of look sloppy for some reason in Midjourney. And that's not usually my experience with Midjourney, but these did not come out well. And those are like my regular prompt settings. So for that one, I would say Visual Electric 1. All right, here's that other design board. So, I mean, guys, I didn't fine tune anything. You just watched me copy and paste it, right? So like if I had fine tuned any of this, it would have been better. But not bad. I mean, like I didn't upload that board. I didn't upload that board at all. So this is just using the words from the ChatGPT prompt, not my imagery as an inspiration. All right, I'm gonna rerun this guy here because it had timed out for a second. So this one's Visual Electric right here. And this one is Midjourney. Midjourney, you don't need Discord for anymore. You can just go to midjourney.com. I believe there's free trials in it now. So week 1, just so you guys know, of the daily, which is starting on October 1st, we're talking about all generative AI. So all of this stuff I'm going to break down with daily actionable, like 20-minute or less videos, so you can actually go do it and learn it. Okay. Same prompt, yep. They're just vastly different. And these are with my personalization settings. So really it should be pulling from my style. Here we go. Yep, that's actually way more close to the actual tile than that blue one. So, I mean, there's a lot we could do. We could go back and forth with all of this. I just wanted to give you guys a simple boiled down version, just so you can understand the capabilities, okay? Like there's so much you guys can do with AI. We just scratched the surface. I would say here for the next few things that you should be looking into. So like after you leave here today, identify the parts of your workflow that you can optimize. Okay, so whether that's creating a custom GPT to help you with reporting analysis, you know, budget breakdowns, whatever that is, check out how you think that in your current workflow, AI might be able to save you some time. That is really what today was all about. Where can we try and fit in these different programs? And then ChatGPT. Try out the pro version. The free version's not doing you any justice. The free version is everywhere. So it's, you know, it's so open source that like pay a little bit. It's a tax write-off. But upgrade to $20 a month, just test it. Really get into it though and see like what you can create for GPTs, because that is the game changer. Check out Perplexity too if you're doing research. That's a good one for research. You don't even have to upgrade to the $20 a month. The free version of that actually is pretty decent. I used that one for quite a while and recently updated, but only because I teach. You know, I probably would have continued to use the free version. And then the daily. So the daily is out. It is open right now. Here is the QR code to that. Right now I'm doing a $99 lock it and leave it promo. So every month, $99 reoccurring, you get access to every single day, Monday through Friday, 20-minute or less actionable videos. So if you go to the website, you'll see like week 1, we focus on generative AI, and then we talk about ChatGPT, and then we build bots. So every week it's something different, but it's very tailored to like, here's how you do it, now go do it, so that you actually do. Because with courses, people just didn't, you know, like people would buy them and then things would change and it's just hard to keep up with. So this is either for you to binge, watch that day, implement, watch on the weekend, whatever it is, but really bite-sized things that you can actually do. The other thing is every month we will have a recap, like on the 1st or 2nd, wherever that falls, so that you can ask questions live. You can also comment on every video live. They're all Loom videos, so you can comment back to me and ask questions, and everybody else can also communicate with their questions there too. So kind of bringing in the community, okay? All right, so now I will take a few questions. Nope, daily videos are not archived. As long as you've signed up, you have access to them. The only thing is they might be out of date by the time you go to watch them because things do move so quickly. That is the point, okay? So at least, you know, within a week or 2, you're okay. But if you come back 3 or 4 months later, information is probably going to be changed. Just in the nature of what we're doing here with AI, very different than what we would be training when it comes to like rendering or something like that. It just moves so fast. So there's always something for you. Can Visual Electric do multiple angle photos of the same room? Yes. I mean, like all of them technically can. It's a style preference. But yeah, so I guess for that one, you would do a style, you would create a style and then kind of like move it around. But if you're using an actual image and want different sides of that image and different concepts, Stapleton is probably going to be your better bet just for actual space. Okay. I also wanted no prerequisite for the 20-minute. I'm starting out like ground floor. Okay. So everything. Are the GPTs available to buy? Yep. Go to AIforinteriordesigners.com, go up to Learn AI at the top, and then you'll see GPTs right there. But yes, I'm training you guys how to make them. And so I do train in month 1 of the daily. That's part of the training to build your own bots. And then I also do one-on-ones. So if that's something you wanted to just build together over an hour, we could do that. Are the GPT prompts work overseas? Yeah, you just need to tell it where you are. It's not really pulling from the live internet, though it says that it is. If you're giving it like a live link, then it can read it. But technically, it's not. It's technically trained on information through October 2023. So if you say, okay, go source this, it's gonna potentially return you with a link for an option that you might be able to source. But half the time, in my experience, those are dead links because it's not live updating, because it's old information. Though it will tell you that it is live updating. If you actually use it, it's not quite there yet. So I'm waiting for search to come out. But Perplexity, that's the workaround. Try Perplexity because that one is live searching. I know this probably sounds crazy what I'm saying and so quickly. Okay, can you binge watch them in a month? Absolutely, you can do that. Every day, yep. What time? The morning is when I plan to have everything out. They'll auto send every morning. If I'm brand new to this, I will be able to follow videos? Yes. Yep. We are every week with the daily, we start with like day one, I'm going to act like you've never even logged into the program before. Okay. And even if you have, maybe you learn something new. Regardless, it's half an hour to 20 minutes of your day, and you might learn something, while you're doing your emails in the morning. That's kind of the goal for it. Keep you moving. Okay, for the budget tool, would it convert? Yeah, you can build whatever you'd like to do. So if you want to build your own budget buddy, you say, here is, my currency, and then you just build it in your currency. Cool thing about these programs is that they are language models. So translation and understanding of just like different cultures, different systems, different processes, like that's what the information is trained on. So it can definitely help you with those types of things. What if after the first month I don't find it relevant enough? I doubt it, but okay. Yes, you can. So you can preview right now. You can see the capsule for fall, winter, and every single week for the rest of the year, what I'm going to be teaching. So if it's a month that you're like, okay, these topics really resonate with me, you can do just 1 month for $149. Or you could do that $99 special, where as long as you're reoccurring $99 every month, then you'll just get access unless if you cancel. So totally up to you. If you purchase just one block of October for the season, so like October, November, December, right now that's $299 as a special. You would always retain that information, and you get access to the monthly question Q&As as well. So you could do 1 month at a time, whatever works for you, 3 months at a time, which is how I release it, because I don't want to get too far ahead with releasing the information because things change so quickly. So I release them seasonally. Okay, so once we get closer to January in the winter season, then I will release a full new training program. And as long as you're on the lock it and leave it, you're going to have access to the new one, and you just keep locking in for $99 after that. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about, where I want to bring in SketchUp and other people in the new year to go through those types of things. But I will be teaching, Photoshop and stuff like that. Canva is a big one. All of that in the first quarter here. Those are all slated to come out in the next 3 months. Yes, I'm emailing everybody for courses. If you already are in a course, you actually get all the updates continuously. Okay, so if you've already enrolled in one of my core courses and you don't want to do the daily, if it's a Midjourney topic that I'm teaching on for the daily, I'm going to now take that information and also update the previous courses. I'm just not going to be selling them anymore, but I will continue to update them. So we are no longer meeting quarterly with the core classes for the live sessions. I tested it this year, and I just think that this is more of a beneficial way to continue to give you guys those updates. So if you purchased already, you will get updates as they pertain to that course, just no more live quarterly updates starting in January. I will email you as well. Do any of the visualizers allow you to upload the client space and then ask it to create a visualized room? No, not really. So, I mean, I don't know why you would want to do that, I guess is my hesitation, because wouldn't just a homeowner want to do that? So what it can do though, is it can create a concept board, and Visual Electric does this better than Midjourney at this point in time, based around style, preferences for furniture selections, but not based off of floor plan. So that would be a way to do that. You can go in and check your portal by logging into aiforinteriordesigners.com/login, or just go to the menu bar, okay? And that'll be your portal there. That's how you can access all the other stuff too. All right, guys, we covered a lot of things. So I know that was a lot of information. I hope it was a good starting point for a lot of people to understand like the different capabilities, what's possible, what's not possible. Realistically, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do another one of these webinars, and it's going to be different. Every single time that I do a presentation, it is never the same as what I taught a day before or a week before, okay? So I hope to see you guys in the daily, where I can continue to keep you updated daily, because it is growing so fast. And yes, of course, it's recorded. I will definitely be sending that out to you. Okay, cool. Just saw the Q&As. Looks like we're good to go. Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.